Hi, I'm Olivia, and you're watching Nottstory, the show that explores our student city Nottingham's past and shows you how it can still be seen in its present. Today we're at Wollaton Hall, which is just a 5-minute journey from the university itself. Does it look familiar to you? That's because it was used in the Batman films as Wayne Manor, Batman's humble abode. Isn't that just great? Wollaton Hall is a spectacular Elizabethan mansion nestled in a beautiful deer park of 500 acres. It was first built between 1580 and 1588 for Sir Francis Willoughby, a wealthy industrialist and coal owner at the time. It is said to have been designed by the famous architect Robert Smithson, who was responsible for creating such other masterpieces as Longleat and Hardwick Hall. But I wanted to find out some of the hall's inside secrets, and luckily, tour guide Kath George was available to give me just that. Hi, so I'm here with Kath George, who's the tour guide here. What was the purpose of this building? Why was it first built?
Well, it was built in 1588 to impress a woman, and that was one special lady. This was none other than Queen Elizabeth I herself. And when she arrived, she didn't like him, she didn't like his house, and she didn't like his wife. And so she refused to stay.
Well, it's an impressive building, so I can imagine that it should have impressed the Queen, but obviously not. I understand there was a fire here after that.
The fire, it damaged part of the building, but left most of it actually inhabitable and usable. In fact, when Cassandra Willoughby came here in the late 17th century, there was just burned out furniture, was just laying in the burned out wing of the building. Cassandra was an amazing lady. She came here with her two brothers. They were only teenagers. They'd just won a court battle with their stepfather to regain Wollaton Hall as their own, as part of their fortune. And the three of them set to restoring the house and the grounds and pretty much saved the family's name and reputation. Yeah.
So they were like the heroes of Wollaton Hall then?
Cassandra Willoughby definitely is one of the great heroes of Wollaton Hall.
There's a lot of events around the year. I know there used to be a No Tomorrow festival. Is there any Christmas events to get your guests in the festive spirit?
Well, we've had a little bit of a sidestep from what we traditionally do here at Christmas, and we're trying all kinds of new things this year. We've stepped away from doing the traditional Santa's grotto, and now we're having little sessions where the children can actually come in, listen to stories with Santa Claus and be entertained by dancing elves. And we have carol concerts here as well. We've got a Meet the Ghosts of Wollaton Hall on the 18th of December. The ghosts are popular all year round, and that's a tour I lead myself.
So what would you say for students who might come after watching this video, what would you say would be the main thing that you would recommend them to come and see?
Well, what is there not to love about Wollaton Hall? We have here the first original Smithson build. Prior to a house like this, you owned either a cathedral or a castle if it was on this size. And so there's the architecture. A lot of people say this house is very much like Hardwick Hall. It's actually the other way around. Hardwick Hall is like Wollaton. Indeed it was. This was the first. The collections that we house here are absolutely amazing. We work with universities and other museums all over the world. We were also lucky enough to have some of the greatest taxidermists that there have ever been who work on this site, starting with Len Wild, who did most of the work in the bird room, painted all the beautiful dioramas and things in there, to Don Sharp, who was probably the most recognised taxidermist there's been.
I also understand that there was a certain Dark Knight who walked these halls a few years back. For students, obviously Batman is such a big blockbuster movie. What was it like to have such an amazing film as Batman filmed here? And did you meet anyone famous?
I was at that time working at Nottingham Castle, so I was just a mere bystander and hearer of news and gossip at the time. But the legacy of the Dark Knight Rises is the amount of visitors that we come that come here looking for Batman and the Dark Knight Rises, and it's really nice to be able to take them into the salon and say this was the bedroom, or point them out to where the graveyard was in the grounds, or even when you're in the kitchens, we can say you are now standing in the spot where Michael Caine stood as Albert the butler.
That's such a great thing to have to this hall. It's amazing. So is it free to come to Wollaton Hall, or does it cost anything?
At the moment, it's free to come in through the door. You can wander around, you can enjoy the collections. If you want to see some of the more interesting areas and hear some of the more detailed stories, always take the tour. The tour will take you into places where you can't possibly go on your own. It goes to the roof, it goes down into the caves and cellars underneath, and you've got some of the greatest tour guides, if I say so myself, in England. Yeah, always a good idea to come and do the tour.
So with that, I decided to take a tour of the hall myself, and it certainly didn't disappoint. From the beautiful Elizabethan detail in the Great Hall to the ornate murals that hang from the ceiling, Wollaton Hall could certainly be described as a grandiose work of art, even if it didn't quite manage to impress Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth I. In 1926, Wollaton Hall was first opened to the public, and it also became Nottingham's Natural History Museum. It houses 5 galleries, one focused on birds, another insects, the third minerals, 4th natural collections, and finally an African gallery boasting giraffe and cheetah specimens, and of course George the gorilla. So while I got carried away with a 20th century phone, the crew managed to explore the grounds and find some more animals. Living ones this time. So obviously there's amazing grounds at Wollaton Hall. How long have the deer called this wonderful place their home? Like, it's probably the first deer park, I have to say, where I've ever actually witnessed a herd of deer. So yeah, how long has it been?
Well, again, the history of this house just reveals secrets. The estate is much, much older than you might think. It was created in the 13th century. A 7-mile perimeter wall was put all around the site, all except for where the deer tracks were. At this point, they left a gap in the wall, and when the deer walked onto the estate, they simply finished off the wall behind them. The deer have been trapped here ever since.
As the sun set on Wollaton Hall, it was time for our crew to reluctantly head home and say goodbye to the manor. But not without one last selfie with George the gorilla. Any last words, Kath?
We've got the dinosaurs coming, and I personally cannot wait to see huge feather dinosaurs all over the building. If you look on the sites, I believe tickets are now available to come for that. But if you don't see it here, you have really lost your chance, because they're coming from China, and when they leave here, they go back to China. They don't go anywhere else.
So that's it. Come to Wollaton Hall and you can see dinosaurs and deer, if I don't say so myself.